I feel like they're my security.
The world's worst boy band.
Yeah.
What a line. Charlie, thanks a million for doing this with us.
What's the crack? How are you?
Good.
Charlie, thank you very much.
How are you, lads?
Go, get in the middle there.
Do you want to tell us a tiny bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Charlie. Currently working at Happy Stack. I think I'm being interviewed for this because... Oh, there's the lads.
You're over.
I think I'm being interviewed for this because I did something a little bit different than going down the usual grad route. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So when I finished in college, I started a business. I actually started a business as part of a college project called Zip Mobility. That was an electric scooter and bike sharing business. Did that for like 4 or 5 years, and then I was the managing director of Free Now after that, and yeah, now I'm here with the boys in Happy Stack.
Unbelievable. And can you tell us a little bit about the feeling you must have had when you realised that Zip was actually going to work? Like, there had to have been a moment.
Yeah, it was unreal. Like, I think at the start, like, you know, as I said, it was a college project at the start. It was a bit of a pipe dream. And where I was at was, I had a job in an accountancy firm. I had a job in one of the big four going into audit. And I was like, I really, really don't want to do this. I was like, I've got 9 months from when I finished college in 9 months.
Yeah.
And by then I want to have like a business set up so I don't have to go into Deloitte.
Yeah.
And yeah, so pretty much I just started cracking on, and it actually took way longer than I expected. Like, it was 625 days from when I put together the first business plan for the Dragon's Den competition in UCD to when I actually generated the first pound in revenue for Zip. And so that was like, yeah, that was nearly 2 years later. So it was a lot of sitting on my swanny, a lot of like hoping things were gonna like improve. And COVID was a massive impact for us as well. So like, scooters were legalised in the UK as a response to COVID. So really, like, that really exploded our business. So yeah, the first time I saw people, like, I remember being in a Zip van, like just driving around the place in the UK and just seeing a load of young lads on Zip scooters, and I was like, that, everything is worth it. That was unbelievable.
And tell me this, did you have anybody with you when you started Zip, or was it just all yourself?
It was actually myself and one of my best mates. We started together. So like, when we were in UCD, we did the Dragon's Den competition together, and then we went into the Nova UCD Startup Stars, which is like a UCD accelerator program. And yeah, we worked on it for like 3 or 4 months together, and then he was like, look, this isn't going anywhere. All the stars have to align for this to work. And he was like, I'm starting in my grad program in Vodafone. So he went and did that, like, all fair play to him. Yeah. I worked in Gleeson's, like, as a barman for a year, like, trying to get it going in my spare time. And yeah, thankfully the stars did align, and it all kind of took off. So yeah, I was by myself for like a year or two, trying to get it off the ground, and then it all just happened real quick. Like, a few things started to go well. We raised 50 grand, we raised another 300 grand within like 2 or 3 weeks. So we went from having one person, just me, working on it by myself, to having like 15 people within like 2 months. Yeah. So it was like massive change for me, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was cool. Eventually the team got to about like 35 people, and we raised like 8.2 million in funding.
Unbelievable. And
sold the business then in 2023.
You were in Free Now after that, heading it up.
Yes.
How did that come about?
I finished up in Zip, and when I was in Zip, actually, like, we had done a deal with Free Now. So Zip scooters and bikes were available through the Free Now app, like kind of like the way Limes are available through Uber. And so when they got the news that like Zip had finished up or whatever, or I had left Zip, they just DM'd me on LinkedIn, and I was like, look, I'm taking 6 months off, but if it suits for me to like start in like later when I'm back, then I'll do that. So yeah, I did that.
So back to when you started Zip and you were talking about the stars aligning.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that a young entrepreneur, like, does it have to be perfect timing for you to go out there and start something, or can you just, is it better to just start there and then when you have the idea? Like, do the stars have to align for you to go and start something?
Like, I think a lot of people, like, you know, think everything needs to be perfect before they start a business, right? Like, people say like, oh no, I'm just going to finish my degree and then I'll start a business. Yeah. And then it's, oh well, I'll just qualify as an accountant and then I'll start a business. But the reality is that the opportunity cost just gets greater and greater and greater. Yeah. So if I'm 21 and I've just graduated from UCD, if I'm living at home, I can start a business pretty cheaply. Yeah. Don't have a mortgage, don't have kids, don't have whatever.
And a lot of time.
Exactly. But then if I go and qualify as an accountant, and you know, and then all of a sudden maybe I've got a mortgage, or maybe I've, maybe I'm being offered jobs at for like 70 grand now because I'm about to, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh Jesus, well I could do this for nothing, start a business and earn nothing and spend money, or I can take this job which is cushier for 70k. So sorry, what I'm trying to say is things get kind of cushier and cushier as you get older, and there becomes a lot more resistance to starting a business. When I was doing an internship with myself, I had a guy say to me, your 20s are for learning, your 30s are for earning.
Yeah.
And what he was saying there was just whatever you do in your 20s, make sure you're going where you think you'll learn the most. And when I was faced with, do I start in Deloitte or do I start my own business? That's all I was asking myself. I was like, which one am I going to learn? Where am I going to learn the most?
100%.
And for me, it was like, I'll learn more starting a business. And yeah, I can always, start in Deloitte next year.
Quickly, you were talking about a mentor there.
Yeah.
How much did he help you when you were like, obviously our age, 19, 20, 21?
Yeah.
Was he a big influence on getting you into
massive.
kind of the world?
Yeah, I had two, I'd say mentors, other than obvious my dad or whatever.
Yeah.
I had two business mentors. One was a guy called PK. He runs Capnua in Ireland, which is a corporate finance firm, and he was a massive mentor for me because that was my first ever work experience, working as an intern in Capnua, and he was unbelievable. Like he did everything that you need to do as an intern, like leading someone as an intern. Pretty much he gave us a lot of autonomy, which we needed. Like really allowed us to take projects and run with them. And really gave us a bollocking when they went wrong.
Yeah.
But like a couple of times a week he'd take
That's not something you get in Hatch now, by the way. Folks. You never get a bollocking.
But a couple of times a week he would bring me into his office and be like, what do you want to do when you're older? Like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you doing after college? And my answers were always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And by the time I was finishing the internship, I had a pretty clear picture on what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. So yeah, he was instrumental, and like even throughout Zip, like he was someone that I'd always go to and be like, we're thinking about raising money or we're thinking about selling the business, and he was always great for advice.
Very good, very good.
And my other mentor was actually another person I worked for on another internship, a guy called John Maxwell, who's the CEO of Linecore Developments, and he was my first investor in Zip as well.
Yeah. Full round circle there.
Yeah, exactly.
And tell us this now, what were you like in school? Like, were you the quiet guy? Were you outgoing?
What do you think I was like in school?
I'd say you were fairly outgoing.
I was nice. I was a class clown though. I got 170 points in my mocks.
Okay, jeez.
And that was 4 weeks out from my leaving cert, and the note that my principal left on my mocks was, great improvement since Christmas. Get the head down for the next 4 weeks, you should be fine. But like I was always suspended. I was bold, and like I didn't want to go to college. And I told my parents I was actually going to move to Trinidad, and I was going to do that instead. And they were like, well, if you do that, like, we're done with you. So I didn't do that. Yeah. And I went into my level 6 in DIT, and again I was just failing. Like I just wasn't getting through it. And to be honest, when I was doing that, I had a bit of a realization, like, oh shit, like if I fail my summer exams in 5th year, I still get into 6th year. If you fail your college exams, like you're done.
Yeah.
So I was in DIT in a level 6 at the time, and I got my head down, and I ended up like finishing top of the course, because once I started working I was like, oh fuck, this is like real world business. It was like group projects and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it.
Much more interesting to yourself.
Yeah, and then I actually then realised, okay, I could actually do all right in this, and I wanted to go into UCD, into commerce, and I got onto UCD and they're like, nah, you don't have the leaving cert results to get in, even with your good level 6 results. And I was like, well, what if I went back and repeated leaving cert maths after, like this is when I was 21. And they were like, yeah, well, if you go back and repeat leaving cert maths, we'll let you into UCD. So I went back to my secondary school, age 21, repeated leaving cert maths. And so I left my first, like the first time I did leaving cert maths, I left both papers after 30 minutes. Like that's what my head was at. So the second time round I went through it, and I got an A1 and got into UCD, and then on from there. So
like in school you weren't the best, but like you came out and you found your own way. And kind of back then, like success is defined by like a number on a paper. Like since you've come out of school, how would you define success now, kind of back back from when you came into college?
Like it depends when you ask me. Like when I started Zip, success would have been to have one scooter on the ground that was connected to a Zip app.
Yeah.
If you asked me a few years later, it would have been like, oh, you know, if it gets to 50 million or whatever, it's success. But like I don't really think like that anymore.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
really think about success like that. Like I think success for me right now is just like working on cool, stimulating, fun projects with cool people.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing more fulfilling than that. And you know, when I set up Zip, I was like, I'm setting this thing up and I'm going to get licenses and then I'm going to sell it. That was it.
Yeah.
When I was in Free Now, I was like, okay, I'm in here. It's cool for the CV. I'll get a bit of experience and then I'm going to bounce. I'm going to start something else.
Yeah. So that's a little quick follow on from there is like when you were leaving Free Now to join Happy Stack.
Yeah.
Like Happy Stack was only an idea at the time.
Yeah.
Surely that was a risky move for you. Like what's running through your head when you're thinking about moving from Free Now to just an idea, which was Happy Stack?
Like to be honest, like Free Now was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. But like I always wanted to. I wouldn't say this to Jack's face, but I always wanted to work for Jack. And what the lads did in Wayflyer was just so impressive. Like when I finished up in Zip, for example, I remember one of the first days I was in Australia, I saw the news that Jack had left.
Yeah.
And I just sent him a message being like, hey, congrats on everything you did at Wayflyer. Next time you're starting a business, give me a shout. And it was like, cool, like, great, whatever. And then about a year later, she's got a text being like, hey, do you want to go for coffee? I was like, yeah, okay, I know what's up. And to be honest, like when Jack explained the business to me, like obviously it's quite a complicated concept, or like it initially was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really know what this is, but like if Jack told me that we were opening a shoe shop on Baggot Street, I was in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it didn't matter what it was,
yeah.
I was going to be joining.
Totally.
And like to be honest, like I before Free Now, even when I'd finished in Zip, like I was looking at launching a brand. Like I was always going to start another business. And like I said, like in Zip, it was kind of a short-term thing. When I was in Free Now, in my head it was a short-term thing.
Yeah.
But in Happy Stack, it's the first time I've ever felt like, yeah, I could be here for 30 years.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to stay. I want to see this grow.
It's so fun, and we're having such crack. And also, there's so much opportunity to like work on new things all the time.
Yeah.
And like you know, you get to practice entrepreneurship. Like it's like entrepreneurship within a company. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's such good crack. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
unbelievable.
100%. We're in there and we love it.
Yeah.
We know well how good it is. Yeah,
And
it's unbelievable.
have you ever had a business idea that like you were pretty confident was going to work, but then it obviously didn't? Or even an idea for an extra product within Hatch that you were like so confident it was going to work, but it just didn't?
Yeah, like when I was in, what was the car there? When I was in, when I was about 19, I was going, actually when I was 18 in school, I was trying to start this business that was like an ashtray lighter. So it was
Okay.
like, oh, I'm gonna set up this business and they're gonna be ashtrays that are also lighters.
Yeah.
This is where my head was at.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I'm gonna supply
Two
the
Clayton
gas.
Gleesons.
Yeah, and I'm going to supply the gas to fucking hospitality businesses. It was obviously a dud idea. I remember going to someone like with it drawn out. They're like, that, yeah, okay, yeah, you that's not it.
But have you always been a man for like coming up with ideas? Like you see something, you see a problem, your head starts spinning. You're like, oh, how can I make this slightly better? Like, has it always been
do you know where it comes from though? When I was in school, right, and I was failing exams all the time, and like teachers would be like I remember one teacher said to me once, "How does it feel to be so?"
Ooh.
He said that to me.
Geez, that's a bit rash.
But I was like, my response in my head
Wouldn't
was,
get away with that today.
my response in my head was always, oh, fuck you anyway, I'm just going to start a business.
Yeah.
I don't need school, I'm going to start a business. And I always found that actually, even in the level 6 in DIT, there was so much entrepreneurship because they felt like the job prospects weren't going to be that great,
Yeah.
that they were like, well, I don't want to work, I don't want to take a shit job, so I'm going to start a business.
Yeah.
And then when I got into UCD, I kind of felt like, well, everyone's going into good jobs here, so no one's even considering starting their own thing.
Yeah.
Not enough people are. They all want to be accountants, they all want to be whatever.
And is
So-
that something you think the kind of higher education's doing at the moment? It's kind of pushing you towards the big corporate jobs. It's kind of taking you away from entrepreneurship and kind of teaching you how to work in teams and
Yeah, like
become accountants, become lawyers. Like,
I can only speak for my experience. DIT
Yeah.
wasn't like that at all.
Yeah.
DIT was like felt very entrepreneurial. UCD though, I actually found it to be like I loved UCD.
Yeah.
They were great. I was based there for 5 years in Nova, but I found the courses themselves, they really pushed you towards, are you going to be an accountant? Are you going to be a lawyer? Because you need to make up your mind quick, because the internships are coming, whatever. And that was the only reason, like, I thought that I was going to go down that route, because I was gung-ho on starting a business, and then all of a sudden I go into UCD and everyone's like, okay, yeah, we're all going to be accountants, yeah? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be an accountant too. So I was like...
It's easy to get trapped into that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And I'm happy that I eventually found that entrepreneurial spark again. And I think it was really out of fear of, as I said, starting in the big four.
Yeah. Right here, we're going to run into Bambino's and get a quick slice of pizza.
Yeah,
we'll get a slice.
Could I get a slice of the pepperoni, please? Yeah. Yeah, I'll get a drink as well, please.
Coke, Fanta, Sprite, or
I'll get a Coke, yeah. Thanks. Lads, what do you want?
Hot pep, please.
2 hot peps.
I just like a normal pep.
So yeah, 1 normal pep, please.
So over the summer, we're hoping to have people come in and give workshops to the lads and whoever's in Hatch.
Am I doing a workshop?
I think we're hoping to anyway. Sorry, this is us asking you.
Yeah,
when
let's
you
do.
do
Okay,
a workshop.
yeah, I'll do a workshop. Yeah.
You have 1 hour to kind of teach them something that you think is the most important part of being an entrepreneur. What are you going to come in and tell them about?
I think one of the most important things is like autonomy, like being able to work by yourself, being able to understand that there's a job that needs doing and just picking it up and taking it. Which I think actually, like, from so far what we've seen from you lads and what we've seen from Oscar and Max, is the people are good at that. The people are able to pick up a task. That's the obvious one. I think the other one that's really important is being able to set your own goals and like milestones. So like, I think that one thing that's not very clear to someone that hasn't worked before is how important it is to get something done quickly. So I think, like, while interns are good at like picking up a task and like you'll ask what am I supposed to do and we'll say just figure it out, like you're gonna figure it out, but sometimes it can be like, I'm not talking about you lads in particular, but it can be like I just say like being able to work quickly is so important in a startup. Like there's nothing more important than being able to work really, really quickly. And also, thank you very much.
Enjoy, guys.
Cheers. And the other thing is like shouting about it when you're held up on something, you know? So it's like, yeah, if you're at a crossroads and it's like, do I go left or right? Like, whatever, figure it out. Yeah. But when it comes to, like, sometimes you'll go up to someone that hasn't worked on projects themselves and you go, where is this at? And they'll go, oh, well, I couldn't figure out this part. And you're like, yeah, but you couldn't figure that out 3 days ago. And if you not come, like, scream about it if you're stuck on something, if there's a blocker, you know?
100%.
So yeah, like, being able to pick up a project and run it yourself, knowing when to like ask for help and when to take it yourself, and then also like speed, like knowing how to fucking actually like work quick.
Class.
Yeah.
May let you have a bite of that.
Actually, unbelievable.
All right, lads, we get out of here.
Yeah, let's go. Now.
So, if you were a student now and you were coming into Hatch as an intern for the summer, what would you be looking to get out of it?
Well, who's Hatch for? Hatch is kind of for people that don't really know what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think that whether the students know it or not, the biggest thing that they're going to get out of Hatch is, oh, I really now see that it's possible to start a business without being a super genius. Do you know what I mean? Like, coming out of Hatch, you'll be like, I can build $1 billion business on Bagot Street, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's just so important for young people to see and young people to believe. Because if you get people that are like 21 years old, 22 years old, or even younger, coming out of an internship, just believing that, you know, starting a tech business is possible and all the different avenues you can take and all the different supports available, I think that they'll be in a really good spot. Like, what we're trying to do is we're trying to show people that there's another path other than just, I'm going to be an accountant, I'm going to be a lawyer. And we're going to have people coming out of these programs having worked on projects themselves with a bit of autonomy. They're now thinking for themselves. Yeah. They're now looking for opportunities. And yeah, they're probably going to go off and start a business or two, maybe with the help of Happy Stack or the lads inside. And it might work and it might not work. But the
The main thing is
that they're
learn
on
that autonomy.
Yeah, and they're on the right path then. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then what happens when they're 25, 26, 27? They may have started a business here and there, little things, and then now all of a sudden they've got a shitload of experience for themselves, and now they're like really solid entrepreneurs that have seen some, hardship and are gritty. And and then they're in a really good position to do great things. So
And let me know this. So we're trying to get people started in entrepreneurship young.
yeah.
But when you're young, the best time to kind of build up a network for these kind of things? And how important do you think a network is within the whole kind of startup ecosystem and for entrepreneurs?
So I think networks are very important, but what I would say is it's not about having a network before you start.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't know anyone before I started in Zip. But what are you doing when you're starting a business? You're going out, you're meeting people, trying to get advice here and there, and you build a network that way. You're much better off. You'll build a much bigger network trying to get a business off the ground than you will, working in the Big
100%.
Four or anything.
Yeah.
Because all I was doing at the start was I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm going to go ask people for advice, and the reality is that, our board in Zip primarily was made up of people that we once went to for advice and ultimately wanted to get involved in the mission and wanted to get involved in the business, whether that was as an investor like John Maxwell, as I was saying, or a guy called Prabin, who was an e-scooter expert, micro-mobility expert. He got involved, and all these people, you go to them for advice, and everyone wants to see a young entrepreneur win. Do you know what I mean? They want to help. So as I said, it's not that important to have a network before you start, but it's an unbelievable way to build a network. And if you haven't started a business and you're just an intern, not just an intern, if you're a student and you're like, I want to build my network, text people and ask them for advice. People just find it flattering, and anyone that's done anything in business has had people help them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You hear about Jack talking about how Liam Casey helped in. I have had loads of people help me over the years. So if you reach out to anyone being like, hey, I've been following your journey, love what you're doing, they're 100% going to be like, oh, that's so sound. This lad's he's going for it. Yeah, let's meet him, let's help him, let's whatever.
You've gone through the program, or maybe you haven't, but you've done something before. You're about 25, you have the experience, you've got a bit of advice. How do you actually go about starting a business these days?
Are you a good man for ideation? You sit down for 3 months, ideate, or
No. I want to get cracking.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask ChatGPT how to start a business. No, but I think there's a lot of support available in Ireland for people who want to start a business. We absolutely milked Enterprise Ireland. They were unbelievable for helping us start a business. I did accelerator programs with the Dublin Business Innovation Centre, now called Further. I did an accelerator program with UCD, free as well. Got office space from UCD, free. Enterprise Ireland invested 250 grand in the business for really sound equity. We got loads of grants. We got a 30 grand or a 15 grand feasibility grant, which is anyone can get that. So if you want to start a business tomorrow, you get onto your local enterprise office, they'll give you 15 grand. There's a priming grant for staffing. We took on 2 graduates, they paid half their salaries. If more people knew about all the different supports available when starting a business in Ireland, way more people would do it.
And I was just going to ask you, when you were talking about the supports there, do you think it's too hard to access the knowledge to those supports? Is it hard to access, or is it easier than people might think?
Again, if you ask someone that's done it for a bit of advice, they'll be able to steer you on where to go. They don't try and
hide it.
Yeah, that money is there for people trying to start businesses. And if more people knew about those supports, they'd be jumping on it. So if you're ever looking to start a business, I can tell you about 10 different ways to get 15 grand.
And here, tell us this now. AI is obviously booming at the moment. Do you have a favourite use for AI at the moment?
Yeah, it's the middle of March now. For the last kind of month, we've been hammering Claude, and it starts obviously with the engineers, and then it's okay, there's application here for everyone. But yeah, I'm using Claude a lot for reporting, and we're obviously sending millions of emails, and there's kind of obscure things that we want to start tracking, and Claude's been amazing on the reporting side for that. So yeah, I think the world is changing at the moment, and anyone I think that's young, I met up with a guy who's just doing his accountancy exams at the moment, and he's what should I be upskilling in right now? And I was well, if you're very good at using the different AI tools available, and like you can talk about that in an interview, people will want to hire you. Like we're hiring at the moment for a role, and like it's probably the biggest question at the moment is like, how have you used AI to automate parts of your job and make certain parts of your job easier? And you might think like, well, if I'm an intern or if I'm in college, like how am I supposed to have like automated parts of my job? But if you could even be like, oh yeah, I applied for this job using like AI, or do you know what I mean? Or like I automated my job search process or something like that. People be like, oh fuck, okay, this guy's on it. So yeah, I think it's just being comfortable. Like the same way 5 years ago, being comfortable with Excel was really important, and it still is to a certain extent. Or being able to like write SQL queries. Now it's just, are you able to use AI to like get the job of 5 people done? Do you know what I mean?
And then obviously you were a young founder. Did you ever have a really hard moment as a young founder where maybe like someone put a bit of pressure on you, or you felt pressure to succeed, or anything like that? Yeah,
like there's definitely a lot of high pressure situations, and like like I think overall, like I was speaking about, I think the part that I found the hardest was probably that point where I was trying to balance everything, like trying to balance the going out and the high pressure job, and like growing the business and raising money and not running out of money, and making sure all the staff are happy, and like, you know, there's just a lot going on, and I think look, take it all in your stride though. Like entrepreneurship's tough, like it's not that glamorous. Starting businesses is tough, but like you wouldn't want to be doing anything else. Like where else would you rather be? What else would you rather be doing? And
one final thing for you is like, what do you think one of the biggest advantages to working in a startup kind of ecosystem compared to like a big corporation? What would you say is one of the kind of funnest things about working in a startup?
Every day, like coming up with new ideas, picking which ones we want to prioritize and work on. I think you can really be yourself, which sounds cringe, but like, you know, you definitely can't be yourself like as a trainee solicitor. Do you know what I mean? So we can just rock up wearing what we want, like talking about what we want. Everyone's allowed to speak their mind, which is huge. And at any stage as well, like there's no hierarchy. Like you can go up to Jack and be like, I think we're doing this shitly, can we do it this way? And he's like, yeah, go do it. And that's really, really important, I think. And it's great exposure for any young person going into it, you know, so.
And you can also step out on a Monday and go get a slice of pizza.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Look, thanks a million.
Thank you so
really
much for that, lads.
Well
done.
Legend.
Thanks for that, appreciate it. All right, well done, lads. Very good.
Oh, down we go. Yeah, sure, we may return you to your desk.
Thank you.
Oh, anyone got a fob?
I've got a fob.
Sweet, that was good.
That was actually pretty good.
I thought it was good.
I spoke an unbelievable amount of shit.
Yeah. We didn't help you out in that regard, but
you didn't need to.